Hey there, welcome to Watch Recap, and today, I am going to recap a 2017 thriller, mystery movie, called Forgotten. Okay, so let's start. The movie begins in 1997, with an audio clip being played in which a person was interrogated. The scene then shifts to a young man named Jin Sok, waking up in a car. Inside the car, he's with his mother, father and older brother Yoo Sok. The family is moving to a new house. To celebrate this, Yoo suggests eating jjajangmyeon. Reaching at the new house, Jin feels like he had seen this place before. He's having something harder than deja vu. It was revealed that Yoo was always a smart student, being always on the top and graduating from a very reputed university. He was also popular with girls because of his other talents, and he doesn't have any bad habits. On the other hand, Jin was an average student. He frequently have mental breakdown. He takes medicine for this. Jin believes that his brother is the only thing that makes his life less miserable. A year ago, Yoo got into a car accident and now walks with a limp. Yoo has to live with Jin as the previous house owner is still getting the room ready, which was going to be Yoo's bedroom. An employee of the moving service finds it hard that Yoo is Jin's elder brother. While having dinner, Jin hears a loud sound from the untidy room, but his family doesn't seem to have heard the noise at all. At night, he again heard some noise from the room and goes to check, but Yoo comes and asks him to go for a walk outside in the rain. Nearby the hill, both brothers appreciates the view, but then, Yoo receives a call from his father asking to return, so he left the place and proceeds to go home. While he was walking down the road, he was attacked by guys who tried to kidnap him. Jin rushes to save his brother, but it was too late. Jin reaches home to inform his parents. He passes out later. Jin in his dreams saw someone getting beaten during interrogation. Before waking up to his parents sitting next to him, he tells the cops about the kidnapper's vehicle number, but the cops tells him that no such number exists. Days passes by, but neither they found Yoo or received any ransom call. Jin kept on hearing noises from the room and watching those same dreams. But then, after 19 days, Yoo returns home safely, but he doesn't remember about what happened to him or where he was this whole time. The doctors calls it dissociative amnesia, and suggests to wait till he recalls his memory. That night, Jin notices Yoo sneaking out of the house, and later in the morning Jin couldn't take his medicine as it fell somewhere he couldn't reach. Having breakfast, Jin asks Yoo about last time, but he refuses to him being out last night. Jin notices Yoo walking normally as he gets out of the house. During midnight, Jin falls asleep on his study table, and Yoo is ready again to sneak out, but this time, he tries to ensure if Jin's sleeping or not. To check, he even tries to poke his eye with a pencil, but the lead of the pencil falls. He then walks out, but then, we see that Jin was not asleep and he now follows Yoo in a taxi. Yoo stops at a dirty market and we see him going in with a lit cigarette in his hand, which is opposite of his character shown before. Jin watches Yoo talking with the cops who was investigating his kidnapping case, but he was caught and subdued by his brother Yoo. Next day, Jin wakes up on his study table, seeing Yoo. He was scared and locks himself inside the bathroom. He says about all the things he saw last night, to which Yoo refuses altogether. Noticing the silence, Jin tries to get out, but was caught by Yoo trying to calm him down and asking if he took his medicine yesterday. Yoo then helps him take his medicines and goes out, but then, Jin finds the broken pencil lead on his table, and finally tells his mom about everything. She suggests to tell about this to his dad, that Jin suggests to collect some evidence before. However, he later finds his mom telling about him to Yoo, so he realizes that these people are just not his family. He quickly pretends to be asleep as she hears his presence. He then decides to escape. He got hurt but manages to get out of the house, where he comes in front of his father and mother. He escapes as his father tries to take him inside, was followed by the goon sent by his mom. He came across police, so the goon escapes. He then starts to explain the police about everything. Reading from the database, they tell him that Jin was born in 1977, and is currently 41 years old. Shocked, he says he just 21 years old. Chuckling, they ask him what year is it. He says it's 1997, but it's actually 2017. He looks around and notices that some things seems to represent the future, including a guy who always takes out his phone to record. Looking at his face in the mirror, he actually can see him being 41 years old. So confused about himself, he returns home to confront his parents. He hears loud music coming from the room, which has been created up like a crime scene. His family then shows up. The young man who was pretending to be his brother Yu Sok tells him that 20 years ago a teenage girl and her mother were killed in the same room, and when the police failed to solve the case, the family of victims hired Yu to find the murderers. Jin was found as the killer. Taken to the flashback, we see Jin getting interrogated roughly by Yu regarding the murder, but he maintains his innocence. Psychiatrist Park, who was playing the father of Jin, suggests that Jin has repressed his memory as the event was too traumatic. Park hypnotized Jin back to his last happy memory. They then starts to recreate and play the story as pretending to be Jin's family in order for him to recall his memory and tell them about the murder. They settle at Jin's house and do all the stuff which happened previously in Jin's life. The sound Jin used to hear from the room was the crew members of the investigation group. Everything went as planned, until that night when Yu was kidnapped. He was actually being arrested for fraud and was kept down for 19 days until he got bailed, so they then continued the story. Now, back to the present in 2017, we see Yu taking Jin to private place to punish Jin for taking 2 innocent lives. Still holding to be innocent, he jumps out of the car crashes, and he also got hit by another vehicle, which surprisingly gets his memory back. The opening scene from the film was shown taking back to his memories, but this time, we see the real family of Jin, but they got into a car accident causing his parents to die, and his brother was seriously injured. Jin desperately needs money for his brother, but times are difficult as it was the Asian financial crisis. Jin goes online seeking a job, but an anonymous person comes up with an offer. He will pay him the money, but in return he will have to kill the mother of a family, leaving the children untouched. On his task, he loses to his humanity and decides to leave, but was seen by the mother and daughter, who started screaming. Panicking around Jin kills both of them. A little boy comes out and was told to go to sleep by Jin. Later, Jin finds out that it was the doctor's family who is operating with his brother Yu Sok, and the doctor was the anonymous guy also. Confronting the doctor, he asks him why did he wanted to kill his wife. The doctor reveals he's financially down, and had taken many insurances on his wife's death, leaving much for his kids, but now that Jin had also killed his daughter, he threatens Jin that he will kill his brother Yu. Getting into a fight, the doctor falls off the building and dies. Back in 2017, Jin wakes up in the hospital next to the investigator guy disguised as Yu. He was going to inject Jin with poison, but then, Jin tells him that he has regained his memories. Yu then reveals that he was the little boy, whose mother and sister were killed by Jin back in the 1997. As his father, who was the doctor, also died, he was raised in an orphanage as his relatives took all the money he received from the insurances. He asks Jin if the murder was planned by his father or why he left him to suffer alone without his parents. Jin, knowing the answers, lied and took all the blame on him. But Yu doesn't believe him, as Jin didn't stole anything from his house when he came to kill, while his father had so many insurances done for his mother just 1 month before getting her killed. Jin, who is so overwhelmed by the guilt of killing his mother and sister, and doesn't want the doctor to look bad in his son's eyes, as all he did was for his kids. Injecting himself with the poison, Jin dies. Yu, with the sadness of his father killing his mother and sister for money suffocating him so much, he jumps out of the hospital's window hoping to see his mom. This is where the movie ends. Subscribe to the channel if you love movies, like and share the video, we appreciate it. See you again.